Hi, everybody. There we go. Good afternoon on this very rainy day. The roads are fine, I hope. Not frozen yet. Yeah, good. Very good. Please, before we begin, drive safely as you go out there. If you're traveling later on today, be careful, drive slow. I see Tom in the back. Great advice. Leave plenty of room between you and the car ahead of you, and don't slam on your brakes so you don't slide. So it was my motherly conversation. And drive safely. You're all very important to us. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Gums,
Here.
Caius,
Caius present.
Kenyon,
Here.
Molina. Miss Molina? Pirog,
Here.
you have quorum.
Very good.
Present.
Thank you. May I have a motion, a second, to approve the minutes of February 7th, 2023?
Kenyon would move.
Thank you, Mr. Kenyon. Do I have a second?
I did not see them. Did we get them?
We did. Molina will second.
Melina, oh, great, you're here. Thank you, Myrna. I believe they were sent to you. Is that confirmed?
I got them.
Yes, and other board members have them. They're probably in your inbox.
Somewhere. Okay,
We all get inundated with emails.
sorry about that.
So we have a motion and a second by Ms. Molina. Are there any changes or edits to these minutes? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Gums,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes, here.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Pirog,
Yes,
accepted.
very good. And Ms. Molina, could you, you're very faint. So just to let you know.
I'm trying to find a better spot for reception.
There we go. That's much better. Beautiful. Thank you. I'm going to ask for your liberty to change the agenda, moving the executive session after we have a review from our state's attorney, because as we can see, we have a number of state's attorneys here and we don't want to keep them waiting. So if we could have the state's attorney Moster's presentation first. So can I have a motion to approve the change in the agenda?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Kenyon.
Yep.
Second, Ms. Gums. I think we can just do all in favor. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Aye.
Okay, very good. Okay, so thank you for that. And please, Ms. Moser.
Thank you very much. I'm not going to belabor this board with another presentation regarding the salaries. This has happened, I'm probably sure to you all ad nauseum, where you have seen Mr. Hunt present on our salaries and his salary study versus Lake County. Mr. Hunt has also gone through to talk about how we lose an alarming rate of assistant state attorneys and support staff because of just the basic lack of providing them with a competitive pay rate. And at this point, I'm not even talking about a competitive pay rate to private institutions. I'm talking about a competitive pay rate to other state's attorneys or even other governmental offices. We have and are currently inviting all of the county board members to come out to our office so that we can not only talk to you about what our budget has now, but what it is that we're asking for and what over the last 2+ years we have been doing to make sure that we are as fiscally responsible as possible. This includes putting people into teams, moving individuals around, finding out if instead of having another salaried position, we can then pay people additional money to work evenings and weekends, depending on their schedule. Everything that you can possibly think of, this office is doing. Included in that, we have been doing work to create alternative programming, such as the King County Collaborative Diversion Program, which is formerly known as pre-arrest diversion, where the whole concept behind that is just never to have people come into the criminal justice system when possible. And so my office is open to every single board member, where you will not only get a tour to look at the space, you will meet many of the individuals that we have. We will talk to you about our program. We'll even talk to you about some of our programming that is revenue generating, because keeping in mind, the state's attorney's office is not a revenue generating office. That's not the purpose. But we did a long time ago create a deferred prosecution program that has been running for about 2 decades, which gives people the chance to be held accountable, but also to not result in a conviction so that they can become productive members of our society. So with that being said, we do everything that we possibly can. And over the past 2 years, I've also instituted many other ways so that the employees know that we care about them. I have been very generous with giving comp time or time off because I understand that they need to be with their families. But every single person behind me can tell you that their ability to use their vacation time that they're entitled to doesn't happen as often as they would like to. And if I just throw more time off at them, it's really them just continuing not to take that additional time. We have brought in a yoga program. We have brought in a health program to deal with the stress that happens. Anything that you could possibly think of that was non-monetary in nature, we have done that in the office to make sure that they understand that we appreciate them. The problem is that does not pay their bills. And then we lose fantastic people. And I'd like to really point out Michelle Neerman to my right. We know that she has been a rock for this county. And when the pandemic hit, there was no one that worked harder than Michelle Neerman in making sure this county continued to run and provided the legal advice. I don't think that there's a single person out there who can say that she wasn't essentially available 24 hours a day to make sure that this county was given the proper legal advice so that we can collect both the COVID funds, the ARPA funds, we could run the mass vaccination site, and we could be there for our county. Now, I support Michelle in the decision that she's making because she deserves to actually have money to be able to retire eventually. I don't know that I could ever see you not working, Michelle, but you deserve to get ready for that portion. But she's a person that we're losing who she has dedicated nothing but her entire life to this county just because she needs to be able to build money towards her retirement. The individuals that are behind me are in a variety of different positions. Some people just starting out, some people having been here for a long time, some people who have to have a second job because they can't make ends meet because of this. And I know you all know this. So this is what my ask is. Pursuant to 2-307, which is for the labor management. It is employees excluded from recognized bargaining units. The Kane County State's Attorney's Office is not unionized. We do not have any collective bargaining units within my office. What this subsection says is that this committee shall annually review the wages, hours, and conditions of employment of all employees not represented by recognized county employee organization and submit their recommendations to the county board each year for the following year. To my knowledge, that has not happened in a long time. Thus, because we are not a part of a collective bargaining unit, our pay has not gone up. And when I say our pay, I really want this to be known, not my pay. I am paid by the state. So when I am here arguing with you, I will not see a dime, a penny, a nickel, anything further. So when I argue for this, it has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with them. We, as a county, cannot lose any more of these individuals because that just makes our county unsafe. And frankly, we're wasting money. I believe that you brought up the example that how much money are we losing by training somebody only to lose them somewhere else. And we're trying to get numbers that are associated with it, but you have to understand that a brand new attorney or support staff is assigned to somebody who's going to train them. You have the initial onboarding just to be able to use all of our systems, and then you just train them for whatever their job is. So you're taking a supervisor away from doing their job to supervise somebody, and you're giving them months of training for all of that. When we lose somebody, we start that whole process over. Now, I want you to imagine we lose a supervisor. Now we're even in a worse predicament because now we're having to find somebody who can come in to train the individuals who we lose at an alarming rate. The last time we were here, Mr. Hunt showed on the Kane County website, which I believe as the former auditor he created. Is that correct? He did. He doesn't want to take credit for that. But this is how you could do a deep dive into our budget. But on top of that, I'm inviting you to come into the office. I'm inviting you to come in to talk to Mr. Hunt, to talk to Ms. Rodriguez, who we brought in to do grants so that we can keep trying to bring in additional money. And I want you to talk to every single one of them. And I want you to find out who has to have a second job, who has to try to change their hours so that they don't have to pay for before and after school daycare, who comes in on the weekends just to be able to make up for the amount of work because they're already overworked and yet also underpaid. And I want you to talk about what it's like when somebody within their team has to leave and the incredible amount of work that it puts on every single one of them. And this is across the board, support staff, advocates, case managers, attorneys, every single one of them feel it. But they're here because they love to be a part of the prosecutor's office. But that love ends when they cannot pay their bills, or they cannot plan to put somebody through college, or they cannot plan for retirement. So I'm asking this board, based on this resolution and based on the funding module that was set up, the comparison to Lake County, to move this forward to finance and to under 2-307, do the evaluation of our pay. In addition to that, though, it is also looking at the conditions of employment, which also means looking at where they are all working, seeing how they were all crammed in together, recognizing that we're even trying to do things where they're cubicle sharing or office sharing. Look at all of that and see what we can do as a county to support the hardest working individuals, in my opinion, which is the members of the state's attorney's office. And that is not an insult to any other county because they're all or any other county office, because they're all fantastic. So I'm going to ask that this time that this be called for a vote and this be moved to finance so that we could see how we can pay these people closer to what they deserve. Not what they deserve yet, but closer to what they deserve. And I'm opening myself up to questions at this time.
She's smiling at me. You have given, I'm just trying to digest it all. I would, please forgive me as I'm stumbling for words because I'm trying to gather my thoughts with an appropriate response. I appreciate your advocacy. Something that I've known about for some time, doing the research to obtain this position. I have firsthand knowledge of your pay inequity. I have been, and many members of this board and of this committee have been highly supportive of pay equity. And I think we can all speak to that with great pride and great urgency. To move this quickly to finance, I would prefer, we have to follow the process, which is I'm trying to struggle through. The amount of expense that would have to be moved over from the general fund would be substantive. So what I would like to do is, I understand that was presented to Judicial Public Safety, and it has to be going through the proper committee. Has that been approved and moved forward to the next level, or has it just was the outcome simply discussion and awareness?
The outcome was discussion and awareness. The reason why we're in this committee, this ad hoc committee, is because of the 2-307, because this committee is supposed to be reviewing the wages, hours, and conditions of any non-collective bargaining units. That's what we are. That's what hasn't occurred. So the proper start point is here, because this committee would have to look at our wages, hours, and conditions of employment, as that has not done. And that is what I'm asking to have happen.
So what I would suggest is that, I know no one likes to have frequent meetings, but at this point, could we transfer this and have another Labor Relations Committee meetings where we can simply speak to this, have the time to read your document, to get an understanding of it. And we can do this relatively quickly. And then reconvene this, have a thoughtful discussion so that we can move it forward then to finance, which may have to wait until next month, because I believe Finance Committee is,
The 28th.
yes, and I'll be approving the agenda after this meeting.
Well, I think this is for your committee to decide.
Yes.
So Madam Chair Gums,
Yes,
I would like to vote on it today.
to move it to finance.
Correct. The reason, Gums again, the reason is I'm the broken record again, so I apologize, but I know where this comes from. We've been doing this a very long time. Having the same conversation, worrying about these individuals that have to work 2 jobs, losing our fantastic, wonderful human beings to other counties, to other agencies. This is something that I talk about every single time we talk about money. Are those people. That's why I talk about them too. And I might get a little emotional, but it seems to me that we keep moving things down the road. I'm tired of doing that. These people deserve to be taken care of. You know that. All of us know that. But we can't keep putting it off. We have to have the courage to make the right decisions and take care of these people. And that's really what it comes down to, is courage. Because as nobody likes to talk about taxes, nobody likes to talk about raising people's property taxes or adding a sales tax. Nobody wants to hear that. But if you're going to be fiscally responsible and take care of those people, you have to do that. Period. It's part of our job. So I don't want to push it. I want to do it today.
Mr. Kenyon.
I agree with her,
All right, very good.
100%. Yeah. We've been putting this off for a long time and you just inherited a mess.
Yes.
Well, I think that.
I mean, your salary mess. So I think we should address it right away.
All right, Ms. Bates.
I agree with Ms. Gums, and I call this the needle in the haystack, trying to cut the budget needle by needle when we've got a whole haystack to deal with, and we've got to deal with the whole budget at the same time. We've got to make it known that we intend to take care of our employees.
Gums here. I just want to add that
Madam Chair, if I can chime in when I get a moment, please.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Ms. Molina, please, go ahead.
While I understand the urgency and time, we have to take into consideration that this is just the beginning of it. If in fact our labor committee needs to review this, we're going to be reviewing everybody who's not considered union as well. And if I understand that statute correctly, or that resolution, it's for the following year. So I understand the urgency of it, but I'm not in a position to change our fiscal 2023 budget at this time. I would instead ask the committee to review everything that we need to review to be prepared for our 2024 budget. I don't think that as much as we agree that the state's attorney's office is important, I think there's a lot of other offices that are also in the same position. And I don't want to put anybody in front of anybody else. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other thoughts on this?
Do you need to introduce this to vote on it?
We do not have a motion on the table.
I
yet.
would move that we.
And there's no resolution to review,
Resolution.
so I would find it, there is nothing to review right now. I think that's a little early.
We were presented a resolution with the state's attorney, so I believe we would need to have a motion and a second to move this resolution.
I'll move it forward.
Gums will second.
So the resolution is to, or the motion, excuse me, is to move the resolution approving the proposed 23 states attorneys budget adjustment for compensation forward to the finance committee meeting next week. And that date is
And Madam Chair, I
February.
apologize, but I don't see that resolution on our agenda. It says not included.
It's not included because it was just handed to me, which is the reason why I wanted to wait until we reconvene this committee meeting so that we have time to review it, not to deny it, not to delay it, but simply a couple of days to read it.
I'm in agreement with you. I think it's premature, especially since I'm a voting member and I don't have it in front of me.
So I may,
And
would somebody like to amend the motion?
Well, what do you want amended for?
Amend it so that we have a couple of days to reschedule this due haste so that we can reconvene it to continue this conversation.
If you would attend in person, you'd have the written stuff in front of you.
But
This
Mr.
is too
Kenyon, I take
important
that.
to wait.
Well, then you should have included in the agenda, Mr. Kenyon. I disagree with you and I find that a personally, you're attacking me personally and I don't appreciate that. As a member
it
and
has-
even as a chair of the Judicial and Public Safety Committee, I have not been privy to this information. So
it has been the standard
apologies for not
practice.
being there with you, Mr. Kenyon, but
Ms. Molina, I will stand with you on this. It has been the decision of this board continually that these kinds of resolutions need to be handed and included in the packet. And again, it's not to deny it. And that is not our intention or my intention at all, because the request is worthy, needed, and necessary. Without question, that I
And
truly believe.
This is,
But I would
Madam
like to
Chair.
have the opportunity just to be able to read it. Yes,
Madam
Mr.
Chair.
Caius. Yes, Mr. Caius, I recognize you.
yeah, typically we have asked for 48 hours to at least review before we go in or asked to vote on anything. And I don't want to delay it either. I'm inclined to want to move something forward as soon as possible, but it makes it really difficult, as per Ms. Molina's point, to vote for this. And I've got an ice storm up here. So I deferred to, rather than driving on ice, check in. So I think that's a legitimate reason not to be there. And since we're allowed rules to check in online. So I would ask that we postpone this for a matter of days, even, not even that long, if that's okay, so that we get a chance to review this document before we act on it.
Thank you. And Michelle, while you are here, so we would hypothetically, because we still have a motion on the table, hypothetically to move this to a date certain or to a specific date.
So right now, there's a motion
Correct.
and a second. Somebody
So
would
it is
have to make a
discussion.
motion to postpone to a date certain.
Correct. That is correct. That's what I just
I-
said. That's
Is
what I
there an
just said.
appropriate date that I could move that to? That would be appropriate.
That's what I'm asking. And I don't have a calendar in front of me.
We would have to vote on the first motion first.
Yes, I understand.
No,
that. If we have
no,
to, we have a motion.
point of order.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I don't think we have to vote on the postponement before we vote on to pass it.
Correct. So right now, there could possibly be a motion on the table to amend the original motion. And that's the step we're missing. If there is no such motion, then the vote is taken.
I'm
So
sorry?
we
Point of
need a
order. I
motion. We-
asked the
we-
state's
I-
attorney.
I believe we need a motion, a request to amend the motion.
Miss,
Would not, state's attorney, would it, a motion to postpone override anything that's on the table right now,
Yes.
that's on the floor?
that-
So
that
I would
motion
move that we postpone this to another date, and we can set that date right now and put it into the end of my statement here, then we can move on that. What would be the next appropriate date?
I'm booked this week, Chris.
Could we possibly do the 28th?
more days than we need, but whatever.
Would that be
That's Tuesday.
before finance? Because if
I
we
would
set,
second the motion to the 20, postpone to the 28th to provide ample time to review the request.
Correct.
if we
Well,
postpone.
finance is on the
potentially-
28th.
Right. If we postpone to the 24th, which would give us 48 hours, we can email everything to everyone now.
That is Friday.
Yes.
That's the after tomorrow.
I-
I would then move that we postpone this until day after tomorrow.
I'll second this.
At
motion.
what time? Because I have things on that day, actually.
What time's good for you, Michelle?
No time is good on Friday, but I mean, I could remotely do it. I could
Okay.
Mr.
remotely
Kenyon
do
would
it.
not like us
Yeah.
to be remote, so I'm not available on Friday. if
9 a.m.?
I'm not able to remote.
9 a.m.?
I do not have my, unfortunately, Mr. Kraus, I did not bring down my calendar nor my phone, so I can't speak to a time.
Sorry.
So if I may, we will have, after this meeting is convened, I'll go upstairs, take a look at the calendar. We'll look at Friday, February 24th. Several times will be presented. And we'll pick out the one that the majority of the board members, committee members, I should say, can attend. And we'll move forward with that. Right, so
Oh. Okay, would that work? Can I ask Madam Chair, can I ask the state's attorney's advice on this? Could we just put the date as day after tomorrow and then leave the time open?
I think we can make a motion to postpone to the next feasibly available date that the labor management can meet no later than February 28th.
Okay. That's my motion
The
then.
state's attorneys, the state's attorney was ready to answer.
excuse me. We always have to make sure that we're stepping with staff, not above them or and with them.
Sure.
As we always have to work with their state's attorney, et cetera, the same process. I've just been informed that it would be a great challenge to get this set up and on Legislar to be able to get it posted appropriately by Friday. And for 48 hours, let's say, would have to be posted by 2 p.m. today to be given the opportunity to have the 48-hour public notice, which would be challenging at best. So
Monday
it's
then?
just a matter of time. I think Ms. Dearman has a suggestion.
Madam Chair, you could simply move to, at the end of this meeting, move to continue the meeting,
To reconvene. Mhm.
reconvene on Friday at whatever
Perfect.
time. Someone from our office could run up and talk to Jane or get your phone or whatever you'd like to do during closed session.
That would be lovely. Okay, we have the suggestion. So we're simply going to, I'm not going to convene this meeting. No, it's fine. Stay. It's fine. So we're going to reconvene. All right. So that's what we're going to be doing on Friday at the 24th at a date to be, or a time to be determined shortly. So I would suggest if right now for a 48-hour window, if you could please get that out to Jane immediately and have her send it out to this committee.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And we have to vote on Chris's
Oh.
motion.
Would that then be my motion to reconvene will we have to motion? Yeah.
Motion to
Whatever.
postpone to a date certain, which would be the 24th with a time to be set.
Does that meet with your approval, Mr. Caius?
Yeah, that's fine. Yes.
Okay.
I'm happy when the state's attorney's happy.
And I
Thank you.
appreciate that. I will be happy when my
We
staff
need a
is happy.
second. We need a second for that.
We're working on that.
I believe Melina seconded that.
Ms. Molina, did you second the language? Would you like to second that?
I'm sure I'll second that.
Okay, very good. Clerk, please call the roll.
Gums,
Out of respect for my colleagues, I will vote yes.
Caius,
Thank you. Yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Pirog,
Yes,
passes.
very good. All righty. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And if someone could go up to my office, please, and talk to Jane and get a date or a time, that would be grateful for that. And then we can set the meeting.
Get back to work.
Madam Chair, can we ask for a 5-minute recess?
A 5-minute recess has been requested and it's granted.
Thank you.
Sarah, you should be keeping track. You could write a book. I appreciate you couldn't make this stuff up.
I just sent you an email. I've started meeting with all the directors of the
And plus to get this posted, it has to be like that.
Yeah.
Where is she? She's-
Well, I'm sure that. Maybe I would rather do one because I was in corporate world. Quality of life. I work for Sears and they always give lip service to it, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, good. Well, I appreciate
And I'm,
it.
you know, I'm a computer, so technology,
There's my downfall.
right, and I'm good at. Actually, I do, so I help people. Better minds
Oh, I know.
Because
That's-
I enjoy helping.
Well, I will
Alright.
get that set up.
All right, so what I said, I'm working all day Friday. right now. So I'm like, I don't. And I've been attending to all the committees.
Oh, I know, I've seen it.
Yeah, so I'm having fun. I retired.
People are gonna have. Or me. They're gonna see me and be like, oh. Well, like I said, we have a meeting set up, right? Okay, close.
look and see.
Super difficult.
Absolutely, well, it's super difficult to train good people and then.
Well,
look
that's
to
why I brought it up
surrounding
to that
areas,
meeting.
Terrible. And all this effort into training.
I'll come whenever you need me.
You got it, you're catching up, and then, I mean, even morale for.
I don't mean to get emotional about those things.
There's a cost to that, well, that cost will set.
But,
Spend.
Correct.
I have,
I get emotional.
But Jamie, you know, I meet with all the report cards.
Yeah.
Said I moved my priority up to meet with her and the
Yeah.
department.
Yep.
Beside attacking, so I, quality of life. A
Yeah.
lot of companies always give lip service. And I'm good at showing people shortcuts to make their job easier too.
That's true, that's true.
Whole work from home thing too.
no cry for me, Argentina.
Right.
Well, if it works, well, yeah, that.
Maybe that's like, I always started singing, don't cry for me, Argentina.
Well, it's
I did go to Argentina, so.
my concept of. The county needs to step forward and it will vary by department, but we need. Position is. Director's level. Position, make sure it works or revise. it. 'Cause you don't.
I am too.
Only silly rules, because.
Right. Well, and we have, a specialized, it's not just like the nine phone system,
Yeah.
all the.
But they're, so.
Agreed. I agree with that, which we
Yeah.
just did.
Yeah.
Which we just did, yes. That's true.
I'm good at
Yeah.
thinking out of the box and causing.
I think that's-
And it's up to, it needs to be in your court that decides.
I'm ready to do this.
Yeah, I could do that then. Yeah, I could do it.
But aren't we, it's like, I know it comes off like,
Others you can tell we're still.
we all know how.
Well, let's vote again.
It's once a year.
Right.
With the full board.
Just in government.
I don't normally do it.
If you're gonna talk it, you gotta walk it. And you gotta put your name on the line.
See. Determined they could have 95% of the people work.
Qualified.
Mine was there.
What you're doing.
Hello?
I am calling about your truck for.
Right, well,
Let me call you back, okay? I'm in a meeting. I'll call you back.
All right, now,
At least it wasn't a spam call.
Okay, are we ready? Everybody's back from their break. Let's get this over with, because I will have to turn this meeting over if we're not completed in an hour to a board member because I have a doctor's appointment at 3. So don't mean to expedite a conversation, but we have to be sensitive to time. So we have 2 opportunities. I'd like to go back, and if we can have a consensus here, we can meet on Friday on the 24th, either at 10 a.m. or 3 p.m. What is your choice?
10 a.m.
I can do 3. I cannot do 10. I cannot get out of the.
Okay.
10 for me.
Can do 3.
Okay, so we've got 10-10. The majority is going to have to rule on this, please. 10-10. Davis?
I'm not on the
Oh,
committee.
I'm sorry, of course.
I'll do whatever it takes to make it work. If
Thank you,
she
sir.
can't make, we can,
I can do either one, so I'm fine with either one. Mr. Kais, you said 10, so we have 2 10. We have
Please.
1 10, 1 at 10, and 1 both. And Gums is 3.
Yeah, I can't do the 10.
Miss Molina,
I was also a 3 o'clock, but I can do a 10 if that's what's needed.
okay, so it looks like it's going to be 3 o'clock. Okay, so Mr. Kais, can you do 3?
I'll try and do whatever I can to make it work.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Okay, 3 o'clock.
Madam Chair, quick question.
Yes, absolutely.
Since we'll be revisiting this at a kind of a short, like we've reviewed it all, it'll be a very short meeting, I assume.
Yes.
So the caveat being that maybe people could zoom in for that if they
We're
can't
still,
make it work.
we're still under the original guidelines.
Right,
and
but when people
So
are
absolutely.
leaning that way, it's
I
like
will-
a 10-minute meeting.
I will be here.
Okay.
So, and I'm sure the state's attorney will be here to guide us.
I will.
And we still have Michelle Neerman, last day.
Sir, go.
Close.
Up until 4:30.
We'll make sure we get her out of here by 3:30. Okay, very good. All right. Now we need to go into executive session, and Ms. Neerman, could you please give me the language?
Madam Chair, this will be to discuss collective bargaining matters.
Okay, for collective bargaining, may I please have a motion to go into executive session?
I would move it.
Thank you, sir.
Gums will second.
Thank you, Ms. Gums. Clerk, please call the roll.
Gums,
Yes.
Caius,
Nice, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Pirog.
Yes. Approved. Okay, we are now in closed session or going into closed session.
Okay, everyone online, please accept your invite to go into closed session. Even if you are in the meeting room, please accept the invite. Yes, and just Okay, you are in open session.
All right, everybody, we are out of closed session. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Gums,
Comes here.
Caius,
Vice President.
Kenyon,
Here.
Melina,
Melina present.
Pura,
Here.
you have quorum.
Very good. May I have a motion and a second to reconvene the Kane County Ad Hoc Labor Management Committee to February 24th. That's Friday at 3 p.m.
I would move that.
Thank you, sir.
Caius second.
Mr. Caius, Kenyon, and Caius. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Madam Chair,
Oh.
could,
Yes, yes.
pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, could you please just state for the record that where the meeting is to occur?
The meeting is to occur in this room, which is the county board
Thank you.
county boardroom. 3 p.m. Friday, February 24th. Okay. Clerk, please call the roll.
Gums,
Comes, yes.
Caius,
Vice, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Melina,
Melina, yes.
Pura,
Yes,
passes.
I'll see everybody on Friday afternoon.
We look forward to it.
I always look forward to seeing your new boss.
I would like to make a motion